This is the VOA Special English Economics Report. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund will meet in Washington, D.C. Saturday and Sunday. One subject for discussion will be falling expectations for world economic growth. A new report by the IMF estimates that the world economy will shrink by 1 3/10% this year. That would be the worst performance in more than 60 years. 3 months ago, the IMF predicted a small growth for this year. Major industrialized economies are expected to see the biggest decreases, shrinking by almost 4%. The IMF predicts developing countries will continue to grow for the year, but only by about 1 1/2%. The IMF says the world will slowly return to growth of almost 2% next year. But the lending organization warns that strong policies to supervise and support the financial system are needed if the world economy is to fully recover. Olivier Blanchard is the chief economist for the IMF. He has said that banks are still in the process of rebuilding their financial positions. He added that securities markets are still operating poorly. Economic experts believe the world financial industry is moving toward recovery, but with more losses to come. In all, the IMF says worldwide financial losses could be as high as $4 trillion by the end of next year. World trade is expected to drop 11% this year after expanding by 3% last year. The IMF report says international lending may not fully recover until 2011. The financial crisis has made the IMF more important than ever. The world's largest economies promised to increase the size of the fund by about $500 billion. They did so at the G20 meeting in London earlier this month. This week, President Obama proposed that the United States lend the IMF $100 billion as part of that promise. Last week, Mexico became the first nation to borrow from the IMF under a new program to provide emergency credit to nations with strong economies. Mexico received a $47 billion line of credit for 1 year. Poland and Colombia are also seeking loans from the program. And that's the VOA Special English Economics Report, written by Mario Ritter. You can find more financial news, plus transcripts and archives of our programs at voaspecialenglish.com. I'm Steve Ember.